half. GENG will be on the blue side here. And Sejuani is the first ban against Sponge, who oftentimes does get that ban against him.
Yep, and I feel like GENG are a team who, even when they are so dominant like this, they still give respect to their opponents. Like, they'll still ban out picks they know have been working well for the team.
Zyra ban, classic, standard ban.
Gotta be done.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately, you know, sometimes with CT1 do a bit of happy gaming against the weaker teams. GENG feels like they're all business. They come here to crush their opponents, and I'm expected to stop here. We'll see what the final ban here is. Still, Skarner actually gets taken away.
Yeah.
K'Sante kind of stands out as not having a rival right now, although Keen, here's the problem. Playing into Keen, he has so many picks that he's comfortable playing into that K'Sante, so still a pain point. We still have the likes of the Ashe left open with the Callisto ban. Senna still available. Senna Nautilus available. GENG could first pick the Senna. Looks like they are going to go for that.
Yep.
Hayes CS number is going to take a hit on the back of this, sadly.
Yeah, you know, his damage percent maybe a little lower than normal.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Corki denial coming through, I think, makes a lot of sense because it stops Chovy from playing it, but also just the picks being solid. Does make me wonder if we see DRX lean into an AP jungler in this one.
Maybe his damage per gold is so low because he plays so much Senna.
That would make sense.
That would make sense. Okay, anyway, Leona is going to be picked here.
Yeah, this has been really high priority for DRX. They love giving Leona over to Platter, and he does make it work, but this is just going to likely secure the Senna Nautilus, and with the
Oh, no.
you have the setup, you have the range. What are DRX going to round out their composition with? Maybe, do they go something like the Taliyah jungle is an option if they want to have a bit of AP? Maybe they could go, like, I was going to say like a Ziggs, but they're looking at the Kai'Sa, looking at the Ashe. Bear in mind, if you go like the Ashe here, you have no real AP, and they're going to ban AP junglers. So they go the Kai'Sa, and with the build we're going at the moment, she has a lot of AP damage, so you can go an AD jungler here and still be fine, because bear in mind, you are going to be dealing with at least a tanky Nautilus. No K'Sante picked up yet. It'll be interesting to see if that ends up getting banned, because DRX could take it on 4, but then they give Keen counterpick. Will they be happy to give over to Keen and counterpick themselves? I don't know. They ban away the Yone, so trying to trim down that 80 mid laner pool away from Chovy. Maybe a Lucian ban blast from them to get rid of that. And on the other side, I mean, maybe you're concerned about Sponge playing like the Taliyah jungle, but actually they go for the Renekton in the top lane.
I mean, Renekton can be played into a whole slew of things, and Rascal has played way too many games of that Renekton. There's that Lucian ban you were talking about. Will deny a Lucian mid pick, and so definitely trimming down the mid pool quite a lot. I mean, I'm not sure really what's left.
Yeah, in terms, like, they could just not go an AD mid. In terms of AD mids, I think the only other one we've seen was Jace, and not very much, so...
Yeah.
I mean, it would work with the composition.
Does sound pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, I think it could
I think
work.
it's got a good matchup in a Corki as well.
Okay, Viband away. I think the thing is as well is, like, you have a long-range comp from GENG. Taliyah can suffer a bit into, like, long-range poke. So maybe that has not gone for that. We'll see what they opt for in the jungle. Obviously, still things like the Viego open and available. Looks like they are going to cement the Taliyah. You know, gives them... I said, obviously, the Kai'Sa has a decent amount of AP in a build, but it really solidifies the AP damage coming out from that Taliyah. Good if you can get on top of the Nidalee, but maybe need a bit of extra CC to lock that one down. And it looks like they're not even going to go for an AD mid here, toying with the idea for Hui. It would really cement the range and poke potential on this composition, and that is a scary prospect to deal with. The engage is going to have to be so crisp from DRX.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Hui, certainly pretty meta nowadays, being picked up more and more often. You don't have to go solo AP Nidalee, as you were pointing out, Ox, so I feel like it's pretty good. Now the Kennen is also going to be selected here blind.
Bit of an interesting one. It's weird because they have such a heavy AP topside that only AD threat is the Senna, and Rascal's locking in Malphite? What? This is a champion who likes to build armor, and you're against triple AP topsides, which is... I mean, okay,
so
on the one hand, I get you need engage, right? you need engage against this composition of GENG that outranges you. And I also know that Rascal loves Malphite, but I can't feel good about Malphite into Kennen Nidalee Hui topside. That just doesn't feel super fantastic.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I think that Keen, he just wanted to kind of cancel out any kind of, you know, top melee kind of bruiser or tank kind of pick like Xante or even potentially the Malphite.
He did the lip reading again. He lip read the Malphite.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe. This says, you know, send us home early, GENG. I am hungry. Sure, all right. Might happen. It's, you know, that's kind of been the trend that's been happening here with GENG against any team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fully sold on the composition, but I do understand how it's going to operate with the poke. As for DRX, like I said, engages need to be super crisp. They need to get onto these squishy backliners and not fall too far behind early.
Well, let's see how game number 1 goes and see if everything pans out the way we expect it. Let's hop onto the Rift. Game number 1, as we hop into this matchup, GENG versus DRX. And Lehen's already on the top side here. I think they can reasonably expect Rascal to be hanging around this bush.
If Rascal dies here, it's not going to be a fun Malphite game.
That nearly hit him. Wouldn't have been too big of a deal. I mean, the Nautilus was backing, so
he was just trying to be a little nuisance, you know?
That is Nidalee. I mean, if you've ever played jungle into Nidalee in solo queue, they will always be in your jungle.
Yeah.
Regardless of if they have team help or anything like that.
This top lane matchup, one thing you can do is the Malphite. He's gone airy. You know, he's going to have second wind. He's going to have Dawn Shield. You go Q-Max, and you just spam it on this little electric rat character.
Yeah. So Kennen is a Yordle.
Oh, yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, not actually... yeah, you might be thinking of Pikachu.
Oh.
Actually, they're different.
Oh, right. Wait, this isn't... Oh, I got completely mixed up. Different franchises.
Yeah. It's okay. It's understandable. Kennen does look very much like Pikachu.
There we go. There's the wagon wheel. And he only took 4 autos in return.
So Chovy early on, especially into level 2 Corki, is not going to have a very fun time.
I just loved seeing Yehu binding windows, you know, punishing. I feel like sometimes people get it into their heads a little bit against players like Chovy. They're like, oh, what if I go in? What if he's... It's Chovy, right? No. Find the angle, find the trade. The Corki's so strong in the early laning phase. It's so different to the old poke Corki where it's just like, okay, I'm scaling up, I'm not too active.
Chovy's down on CS.
Oh.
Somebody take a picture.
Quickly. Pause the game now.
Get it now.
Submit it and say, look, we had double Chovy CS in the mid lane. It was clearly a 1 game.
Yeah.
Just call it now.
And that's what happens when you push away under turret when he's level 2. It's not going to have too many ways to deal with it, even with the empowered autos.
Every time you're like, too many ways.
Yeah. Every time I want to do it, which is why I kind of stop myself, and only sometimes do I throw it in there.
The problem is it's now on brand, so if you don't do it, people will be like, why is he stopped?
Yeah.
That was my favorite Valdez thing.
When he said way instead of way.
Yep. That's what people are listening for.
Well, it's good to have something, I guess. Better than having nothing.
Oh, is that what you said? I have the whole Chemtech thing.
Yeah, true. You do have that.
That's my entire personality, Chemtech Dragons. Oh, bar an award there, Canyon.
Yeah. Didn't quite know about that. And now, I mean, Spongy picked up that early Scuttle Crab. Looks like he might just back away afterwards. Maybe clear out the ward with the plant and get it back in. Canyon has to go for that bottom scuttle. Talia just power farming, as you would expect.
Yep, they are both power farmers. Not regular farmers, power farmers. Yeah, I mean, top lane isn't going too hot in the CS department, but you can see Rascal, he's been through a lot of mana, but is actually chunking Keen out a fair bit. At the bot side, Teddy and Platter had the early pressure and actually managed to get a recall off of Teddy to pick up a call. And a control ward by solo queue AD carries would never.
Yeah, that item doesn't exist in the AD carry shop in solo queue.
I won't lie, I'm really selfish too. I don't buy controls either as a support. I need my items, you know?
Yeah.
I have to finish my Warmogs in every game.
How else are you going to carry a support?
You know what, this is actually one of those games as well where you really want to lock it into Kennen. But I guess
Did you say Warmogs?
Warmogs is still pretty good value as well, you know, so both, ideally. I'm certain that a support in the LCK will get 2 full items completed. That's a thing that happens.
Generally, our supports finish their first item, Warmogs. I don't know why I said first items. I should just say Warmogs.
It's also pretty expensive.
At about 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's also it's a pretty expensive item, you know, so it definitely slows down the follow-up items.
Yeah. Takes a long time. You got to buy a lot of control wards.
Yeah, that's why everyone loves playing the Senna plus, you know, tanky things. You actually get to build more than one item.
Tanky thing. Sponge is here. I mean, you could potentially punish Keen. The issue is that Rascal doesn't have any mana.
But he is now level 6. That's why he wants to reclose. Like, get back in, full mana, press R, job done. And he's gone for the early Negatron Cloak, maximum MR. He knows what he's dealing with on the top.
He changed it.
He changed his mind. Well, it does help with the farming a bit, I guess. But yeah, he's not ready to fully commit to the bit.
Well, Sponge is on a ward here, and they did play this very discreetly, but now Yehu's doing a good job of pushing him away. Nearly eats that second spear, does Yehu, but he is fine.
Yeah, I mean, Hui has some CC in his kit, but it's not super reliable, and it's kind of easy to see it coming, so not too much setup for the Nidalee Spears. Oh, bit of an engage.
Yeah, Pletta's going in there, but now he's just going to get rooted up. Hayes is pretty low himself, trying to just run this one off. And he will be able to.
Yeah. Cannon. Sponge is very low.
Sponge is taking a lot of damage. Also, the strike from the air, and now the Kennen goes in, and immediately they both get stunned up. Rascal gonna ult away, and still gets hit by the spear after the flash. No way! Oh, that is so unfortunate for him. Yehu also gonna try to flash away, but Keen is here. If he hits a Q, not quite gonna happen. The minion's coming in, potentially saving his life, and that is 2 kills over to GENG already.
Look, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes we see plays from GENG, I'm like, how can you match up to this? You know, this was just so well orchestrated, so well played. This was not one of those moments. Sponge gets chunked out. I'm assuming he got hit by a Nidalee Spear or something here. Like, he gets a good trade on the Canyon, but Canyon avoids the seismic shove. Spear does hit Sponge, yep, that's it. And then they just kind of hang around and wait for the Kennen to approach. And they're just corralled in. They're already basically dead. This is just a freebie for Keen. And in this moment, you know what? I have nothing else to add.
Yeah.
Straight lines are not your friend.
Yeah. Well, now Rascal doesn't have flash. He'll get his ult back. I feel like he should have just used it there and just tried to, you know, they were standing on top of each other. Like, Kennen and Nidalee aren't that tanky at this point in the game. Not very tanky at all. I mean, Keen did have Merc Treads, but...
You think he should have done that?
I mean, it's better than what happened,
I kind of like the play he went for. I thought it was pretty good.
I think so?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I enjoyed.
There was that game where he didn't ult in the one time, so I guess it's better. The stun is going to hit, and the spear will hit as well. Rascal doesn't even have his ult back, so he's just dead. Yeah, so 2 kills over to Cannon's Nidalee. I guess at least you banned his Zyra, and he's still playing Nidalee.
Yeah, and now Malphite can just build a lot of magic resist, which he loves to do. I don't know if you know this, but his abilities scale. They scale with a defensive stat. I'm not sure which one it is.
Must be magic resist. Well, Keen is in a lot of trouble here, but can Sponge do enough damage is really the question. Looks like, yeah, the auto will get it done.
The red buff's so broken.
I think Keen ulted the wave.
Maybe.
So, yeah, he didn't have it for when the Taliyah was there. Here comes Canyon and Chovy and Pays and Lehens to deal with Yehu, who is very dead and was going for a gank. in the bottom river. So GENG, they lose the cannon, but they get the kill, and they're going to get this dragon too.
You know, I don't know what I expected, but I feel like it was like I knew it would be a stomp from GENG. Like I was pretty confident, but this just feels rough even so. It's still early days, right? They still have like the Malphite engage to try and make team fights happen later, but a 3-0-1 Canyon on Italy already in this game, doesn't feel great. Doesn't feel good, or even just okay. It feels pretty bad for DRX. And here, just unfortunate. Yehu roams over as GENG's bot lane are ready to move.
He was running away from the gank, and he didn't have flash, so he was just dead. And now, Pei's in a bit of trouble. Does have cleanse and flash himself. We'll see if he uses it. There's the cleanse. Now he's going to flash, and he does actually get away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Planet didn't have level 6 yet, so now has it. As I'm saying that, would have been able to follow up after the flash. The stun would have been reduced with cleanse, but maybe could have been enough for them to get the kill. Regardless, they get sums from Pei's, so that's something.
Okay, gonna stop the back.
You remember that when Jinx was meta, and every game Jinx would just spam rocket to cancel base?
Yeah.
It was the most annoying thing. But it's bad sportsmanship.
Jinx Aphelios. Any enjoyers?
Yeah, I'm kind of happier with the meta we have at the moment.
Yeah, the right answer is no.
It's crazy.
It was okay.
It was okay.
It's better than Lucian Nami.
That's
Very
true.
Lulu.
But we had so many metas where it was just the same bot lane picks being exchanged, and now we're actually getting, you know, we have Zeri, but it's not always Zeri into this champion, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
Especially at the beginning of summer when there was a lot of experimentation going on. There was Jhin as well in there.
Really.
Varus was being played. Kai'Sa was in it. Ezreal then coming in and got buffed. And we have a lot of variety in there, which is nice.
Oh, there's a sneaky sponge.
Sneaky Sponge, sneaky Canyon as well, but the full combo on Akeen as the spear is going to hit Sponge. The stun finally gets in there, and Rascal desperate to kill Keen. And at least he'll be able to do that, but nobody on the Rift can deal with Canyon, who now has 5 kills 11 minutes into the game.
Yeah, honestly, one of the big things when you have a burst combo like Malphite Talia is that heal that comes out from Canyon. It's actually already pretty significant. And it really just hinders your ability to one-shot a target. And that waiting for that extra rotation of cooldowns is such a pain when you have this Liandry's already completed in Italy just beating you up.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, you know, trying to use the combo. I think the play itself is totally fine, but Canyon's just everywhere.
And he's just very fed.
Yeah.
Ready. Very hard to deal with.
It's like you're trying to set up a play, you're trying to be proactive. Nope. Canyon.
Yeah, it is going to be the 80 cannon coming out from Keen, which makes Rascal's armor purchases a little less egregious, but he's not going to have a good time regardless. There's still going to be a lot of magic damage from that cannon, but we see the play coming out, and yeah, if you look, so he's really low, and then that heal, like 195 health. It doesn't sound like a ton, but that is a difference maker there. Like, he would have died so much quicker.
Yeah.
And they still probably would have lost, I mean, they would have lost a 2v2 regardless, but maybe Rascal gets out, potentially. Just hard to deal with in these situations. And yeah, this is such a fed in Italy already. These spears are going to hit.
This is going to feel like old days in Italy, like Season 1 in Italy.
Oh, man.
Where you play at mid and you hit a spear and the game ends. You're like, well, I hit you. I missed 5 in a row, but that one, it got you. And so I win the lane.
I remember that clip. And I can't remember which player it was, but I'm pretty sure it was NA. I think it might have been
Hotshot.
LMQ? Was that their name? You know, the team, 5 Chinese players who went.
Oh.
Anyway, so I think it was a mid laner, and there was a trap on the floor, and he threw a max range spear, and they stepped on the trap just after, and they just died from full HP.
Yeah.
It was absurd.
And then Riot saw that, and Italy was changed forever.
Thank the Lord for that. The thing is, like, now, like, spears do a decent amount of damage, but never does it get close to that.
Yeah.
Even if you're, like, giga-fed, you can't do the stuff that was capable on that Nidalee. And the thing is, Nidalee back then, you didn't even need to be that fed. The spears did so much damage. You just need to be moderately farmed, then you just one-shot people. Good times.
Good times. Well, Nidalee's back in the meta, and it's Canyon playing it. Gonna miss that spear.
Oh, and he steals the Raptors.
Yep, he is level 11. He's ahead of his top laner and the entire enemy team.
Yeah, Paze's flash is about to come back up, so Summoner's been earlier. Not really going to be a factor. And by not really, I mean aren't a factor at all.
Chovy does have flash here. You see that Sponge was thinking about the gank, but not going to go for it to gank for the Kai'Sa.
How is top lane going?
Well, we have been checking in a lot, and I think after a lot of the plays, Rascal was being bullied early on before he got any items. Now he's got some items to help deal with some of the auto attacks, even with that board completed for Keen. But it's still not easy, and Cannon's going to make it even more fun for Keen as he throws down the Rift Herald in the top lane.
I'm not sure this Herald was necessary, going to be honest, but maybe they're trying to go for 2 towers.
I would assume so.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's going in. Here he goes.
Immediately into the 2nd tower.
Now, Rascal will dodge it, but that's a full charge into the inner turret here, and you've got 3 people. I mean, down goes the turret, and now you're looking at maybe a kill here on a Rascal, although he does have ult and flash, and there's the flash. Just gonna elect to use that instead. That spear is gonna hit Pleta, and he immediately scratches the back of his head. We're getting another charge in top lane.
Oh, wait, he's trying to...
Oh, wait, Cannon, wait, wait, what happened? Okay, well...
Wait, Rascal still has ult, but he's...
Okay.
It's not the...
Take it away, Ox.
It's not the
Break it down.
Malphite flank we've seen. That is reserved the last time Rascal played Malphite, when he did that flank with no ult against T1 and just died. So...
Hey, he pressed Q as well. Don't forget about the damage he did.
The wagon wheel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, who's going to get an objective bounty? Okay. Goes down bot. He ignores all the shenanigans in top lane. He's like, I don't care about that. I'm getting some gold for my team. Team player.
Apply the pressure mid. And I'm not sure there's anything DRX can do about this tower. Perhaps the bot tower as well is going to be forfeit. I guess they just wait until Rascal's... Here's the problem, though. When you have a composition like DRX's, which is relying on things like the Malphite ult, maybe Leona, and you're playing against this Genji comp with all this poke, and a split pusher and this on-hit cannon...
6 Void Bubs as well.
When everyone in Genji has summoners, and like Paze has bought Edge of Night, it's so difficult to actually find a good engage. You need a big...
Oh no, Pleta. Well, that's a good flash, but yeah, he's just not getting out of here as the root comes down. Chovy gonna take that kill away. He says, Canyon, you've had enough. Give me one.
Yeah. But I just think this is the issue. Like, everyone has sums up in Genji. If Rascal goes in an ult, I'm pretty confident Genji members will just flash it.
Oh, the buffer from the hands. I guess it's not technically a buffer, but he started the cast before the knockup, and so it goes off after the knockup, and he gets out of there scot-free. Doesn't even have to flash. And they're just pretty naturally taking these turrets down. Sponge says, okay, we got to get something going, but here comes Rascal. He is going to ult in, but Chovy just flashes away. And now Rascal in a rough spot. The not ult comes down as this tanky Rascal still going to bite the dust, and the rest of the damage comes in. Nobody else very tanky here on the side of DRX just yet. And yeah, going to force them back. At least DRX will hold on to their inner turret.
Honestly, pretty good play. They trade 1 for 1. They get Chovy's flash. I mean, this is kind of the problem I was raising, that Chovy will just flash those. But it means next time you go for that play, it's not going to be available. And just hope he hasn't bought a Seeker's Arm Guard in that time frame. But yeah, it comes out of the Fog of War as well. Not sure if maybe he had just a read on he'd moved down there, but pretty heads up from Chovy, no real surprise. They do get the damage down on the hands. Teddy nearly just gets blasted there. But still, signs of life from DRX. They are still incredibly far behind, but my advice is to keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, keep making plays. They do have decent combos with the Taliyah and Malphite. You've got Leona as well. The only person who's got cleanse is Paze, so...
I just find it funny that, you know, we talked about the heavy AP topside from Genji, and now 7 of the 8 kills are on that mid-jungle. Rascal is following up the Sunfire with a Frozen Heart. All armor, baby.
Well, I guess he's planning on matching the cannon in the side lane, because that really is the only way it would make sense. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to make too big of a difference regardless of what item he does go for.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna change much.
So at least he'll deal with the Kennen and the Senna, we'll say. I'm just glad that, you know, they're setting up plays. They're making stuff happen.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, his shield blocked most of that damage, so you know, who cares? Yeah, I think finding an angle to punish Chovy before his flashes back up is ideal. Dragon's up at 20 seconds. This is risky, though, because giving up the Dragon is obviously not ideal, but if you lose a fight at this Dragon where you are nowhere near, you don't have control, you don't have vision, you risk giving up the Baron as well, and it looks like they're just going to try and bully Rascal. He's going to try and ult Keen, and he's going to die for it.
Yeah, there it is. The Kaisa goes in, but immediately the ambush comes down from GENG, and both of them are just going to be torn to shreds. That's a double kill for Keen. Some extra assists over to Canyon, and a nice setup play here from GENG.
Yeah, Keen did a great job as the little worm on the end of the hook. Perfect bait, and Hayes and Canyon there to follow up. They're going to take the inhibitor.
Are they going to try to end?
Do they go further? You know, T1 stole their fastest game record.
Yeah, they absolutely did. That was 21 minutes and 8 seconds. So, oh, the hook is beautiful from Lehens behind the turret, and they're just going for it as the damage is insane. Sponge is dead. Down should go this turret, but only 4 members left here, 3 members left on the side of DRX, and yeah, they're just going for Yehu as Canyon flashes in, assassinates him, and down will go Rascal as well. That will do it for game number 1 as GENG absolutely decimate DRX here in the span of 20 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, so they end up beating the fastest game record of the season, which has been, I feel like, broken so many times in succession. It was 21-08, which was T1 against DRX. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, GENG not wanting to be outdone by their counterparts, and I feel like I don't have a ton to add to this game. The early skirmish around the Herald went, you know, I would say as bad as it could. It feels like it went a bit worse than that as well.
It would have been worse if Yehu also died, but
yeah,
at least he got out.
I feel like it's one of those games where when games go that badly, you'd think there'd be a lot to say. I honestly think it's the opposite. It's like, okay, this was horrible, and you lost control from there. Just really struggled on this one. Keen doing the most damage. He was just hitting a rock, but Canyon really took over this game, and it was just a speed run. Only 2 dragons taken because the game just ended.
There just wasn't enough time to do anything else. I mean,
wasn't enough Nexuses.
Yeah. Well, we always have game 2, I suppose, to add to that number. But yeah, GENG, nobody can stop them. And that really is the case. And we're done here for game number 1, guys. We're going to take a break and come back with the space to break down that first game. We'll see what they have to say after the break.
막아야 된다 이거. 끝내도 되긴 해. 뭐 이번에 끝낼 생각해요? 끝내자. 얘네 바로 먹냐? 아 상관없잖아. 아 못 먹어. 얘 바로 못 먹어. 우리 블루턴 거 같은데. 그러면 할리한테 막아도 돼. 낙할 못하게. 내가 말파 나와도 말파 노공이야. 나 그냥 할리야 내가 막갈게. 타워. 나 그래 볼게요. 레오나. 할리야 공부하고. 나 탱크. 할리야. 뭐 타워 포커스 터지면. 야 말파 3초 남았다. 말파 이거 나. 말파 공 없어. 끝내자. 타올게. 다 넘어야 나 걔네한테 해줄게. 걔네한테 해줄게. 다 넘어야. 야, 코르키. 렉서 치자. 빨리 끝내자.
And, you know,
Yeah, like in
and
the...
he carried some games at MSI. He was
Put him
pretty
on,
good.
yeah, on the Blitzcrank. Okay,
I think
well,
that banning Nidalee is a good idea.
it's a good start.
They start on blue, so they have some more flexibility to ban some stuff, but
Okay, if we have a checklist to beating GENG and there's 100 boxes, they've ticked the first. Okay.
true.
We'll see what else they opt to deny here. I feel like giving over the center Nort was problematic, but maybe they think GENG are going to ban one of the components on red side. We'll see. Do they ban the Zyra as well? That's the question.
Yeah, that was really the biggest thing I was curious about, because they banned Zyra on red side.
Rumble and Kalista are already gone. So, yeah.
I think you still ban Zyra. I think it's a good idea. I mean, they're put up against the wall. It's just so difficult to ban against this team, but...
I guess maybe ban Zyra, first pick Tristana. Diana!
ban Diana instead.
Alright. Okay. That was definitely something I expected them to play. I'm pretty sure when... I don't know. Just move on.
So are they going to first pick Zyra?
So, GENG banned the Senna. And it looks like they're going to first pick the Zyra.
Okay.
And then GENG get the choice of 80 picks in the mid lane. They could also play like the Talia in the jungle. They could play Talia mid. They could deny the Leona, which Pletter's been playing a lot. Well, I'm not sure there's a need to. They have a lot of options. It looks like they're going to go for the Corki, not the Tristana, which Chovy has been rather good at.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
And also,
Corki.
a big thing with the Zyra is I feel like she works best when the enemy team's trying to dive into her. Corki doesn't really need to do that so much, you know. Less so than old Pro Corki, but still a decent amount. Maybe they pick up...
Neither does Karthus.
Yeah, he
That's
does
what I was about
either.
to say. And it is the next box on the list, right?
Yeah, so I expect DRX will probably secure the Leona, as they have been doing in pretty much every single draft. And I guess a mid lane pick, so maybe the Tristana themselves for Yahoo makes the most sense in my mind.
Yeah.
There's a Tristana. Although they could go top lane, potentially. The Nox, you're going to secure the Leona, they're going to secure the Ezreal. So I was thinking maybe they take Skarner or Cassante. Nope, they don't care about those. They will just pick the Ezreal. I think that kind of makes sense, because if you pick like Cassante or Skarner and you give kind of pick over to Keen on this 3, it could be painful. Zeri, Corki, Karthus. Well, you ain't going late.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You got to make some plays early. And, I mean, it's possible. We'll see how it goes.
Well, we'll stay optimistic.
Yeah. I mean, again, you can't ban everything, so I suppose you would prefer this than seeing Kennen on Italy once again. The Alistair is going to be banned away. Alistair actually had a really high win rate at the moment, 13-4.
Yeah, he's doing really well until all the
Actually,
engage picks.
14-4, because Andal won a game on it earlier today.
He's good in a Nort, he's good in a Leona. They will ban the Leona, thinking that might come through. Or GENG could just ban like Nautilus here and pick Lulu for themselves. They would lack a bit of the lockdown, so maybe it's not something they want to do. But they have choice essentially in this situation on that 4 pick.
How about a Poppy ban? Oh, Rakan.
On obviously pairs well with Ezreal. They're both quite safe. And now it's up to DRX. Do you? I mean, I guess they probably want the Nautilus into the Zeri, but I don't think you're going to get it if you leave it open.
Yeah.
But if you ban Nord and they pick Lulu, you're going to feel pretty bad as well. I guess you could go maybe like Karma and play for like an aggro lane. But then you really lack CC and engage. But you can't play at range. They just don't even think about it. They're like, we'll ban the Gnar. Forget about all those other things. And it's going to be immediate Nautilus lock-in from GENG to no one's real surprise. And now, what did DRX take? You know, there's still the Rel open in terms of those engage supports. I guess we're just moving down the totem pole of engage supports, and it will go to the Rel now. And now top lane, do you just go Skarner?
How about a Malphite?
Definitely not.
I'm joking. Yeah, it is going to be the Skarner.
You know,
that makes sense.
I'm thinking of this as Rascal throwing the rocks, you know, on Skarner.
Yeah.
Throwing the Malphite away.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm
throwing them all out.
He won't pick it again this split.
And Keen's going to play Cassante. That's not a big surprise either.
No, not really too much shocking coming out of these later picks. Yeah, I mean, I feel like GENG has the edge in draft. I also think that they have the edge in gameplay. So I think DRX, if they want to win this one, I think it comes down to Sponge obviously setting a good pace in the jungle, Yahoo doing well in his lane, as well as Teddy, and maybe looking for chances where you can pressure the Karthus. It's difficult, but I think if the game plays out slowly, you're just doomed.
There's just too much on the side of GENG that can go late really well. I mean, you toss in a Karthus ultimate into a lot of non-tanky members, namely the Zyra, Tristana, Ezreal. The other two will be okay, but... And then you've got amazing follow-up. You've got Zeri for those team fights, the Corki as well, double 80 composition. You've got a similar thing on the side of DRX, but, you know, Teddy's got to be really crisp on that Ezreal as well. As there's a Teddy fan right there on the left, DRX fan on the right. Did you win? Chobi, that says. Came from Switzerland. And, yeah, lots of fans from around the world coming to watch this matchup.
Always cool to see. Just, you know, obviously you expect for like finals and stuff, people will try and get here to like those, but just any day, you know, someone could be having a holiday in Korea, showing up. So
absolutely,
let's see it.
Well, guys, we're ready for game number 2. Let's hop into the rift right now. Alrighty, here we go. Game number 2.
Oh.
See if DRX can have a bit more luck in this one. The Rock.
Go next.
But Ox, there is no next if DRX lose.
Okay, round 2. You got it. You played Malphite all last game. Rock solid.
Hey, nice. Good job, Rascal.
Yeah, he's winning now.
He is.
I'm certain that will
GG.
have an impact on Keen, who has Doran's shield, and will just heal up.
Well, that's fine. Lehens, though, is pushing in here, and, I mean...
Oh, Teddy, 2 Qs. They do see them. Very hard to fight a Karthus level 1, though, so I guess they just let Canyon take those camps.
Yeah. I guess it's just going to be vertical jungling, potentially. Unless Canyon wants to be really cheeky and go up to his north side jungle.
I think it really comes down to who has mid-prio.
Yeah. As always, the mid-prio, very important.
Mid lane is just broken, what can I say?
Mid lane, it's kind of like that. A lot of people say it's, you know, essentially boring just because it's like, well, you're playing very similar champs, you're doing the same thing, you're kind of just pushing lane and trying to get prio, but it's just so important that even though there's not a lot of gameplay per se, it still matters quite a whole lot. As Canyon here, he is on a ward.
They're going to hit level 2 soon. Okay, level 2, not an easy gank. They might actually look to punish. He's on the ward, so...
He's going to hit 3. And, yeah, the flash comes in, and Canyon is going to flash away. Ignite is ticking, but, oh, the Q is going to miss. And meanwhile, the double lane comes over. Pays in the hands. That is first blood to Zeri. Not exactly a Zeri moment, but they're going to feel pretty good about that one.
I looked away. It was too painful. I just couldn't. Oh, man, that one must sting so bad for Teddy and Platter. Concept of the play is good. Execution left something to be desired, and I think the mistake was flashing into the play. I understand the theory. You want to get in, get the play done, get out before the enemy bot lane turns up, but you left yourselves no way to get out. I think if they'd taken it slow, Canyon might have just flashed out, but then, cool, you been his flash, you didn't burn anything yourselves, and you didn't die.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of an issue. I think the Ezreal would love to have presence, you know, be poking them down, be, you know, potentially dictating the pace of this lane, but now you're down a kill, and eventually once Pace goes back and buys something, you would imagine that he and Lehens here on the Nautilus, which was also left available, should be in a pretty good spot. Nice little poke from Pleta and Teddy, but they're just fine. As Canyon doing the bottom side Scuttle Crab And we'll finally go for a back even after all of that action.
Yeah, I probably am guessing a cold pickup from FaZe, honestly, alongside some other things. But we'll see. Maybe wants to just complete. Yeah, goes Zerka Greaves off the bat. Wow, nice spike. And we'll see the replay. So they see he's low, but he heals up a decent amount just from the level up. And then, oh man, Teddy flashes the hook, but like flashes aggressively because he thinks he can finish off the Karthus. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Mental reset. No, I think
that's a hard one.
I think of all the players in the LCK, Teddy is definitely one who's had to have a strong mental in rough games.
Yeah, no, he definitely has. It's not his first time, but it doesn't make the individual moments feel any easier, I would imagine, especially one that is that close. Because, you know, if the solo queue, you can kind of just, you know, you can tilt out, you can say, okay, I'll go next or something like that. But he's on stage, he's got to try his hardest, and he's got to keep his head in the game. Yeah, it's not easy.
It's the rough thing we kind of saw from last game where because GENG are so sharp when it comes to macro and their team fight in general, like, GENG can fumble multiple times and still be okay, but it really feels like sometimes DRX have to, like, if they make one big mistake, it just feels kind of doomed. So you definitely feel the pressure in those situations. You don't get many second chances against this team. Sponge walks over, doing pretty well on farm. Obviously, Canyon did end up turning things into vertical jungling, but now in this uncomfortable spot where Sponge has no camps up and Canyon has multiple.
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue, for sure. And you see that Sponge is trying to get aggressive. Yehu trying to make some plays in mid. Hits level 6 first, and we'll try to chunk out Chovy. Unfortunately, Yehu himself also took a bit of damage. Here comes Sponge. Trying to steal this away with the plant, and not quite going to be able to, as it looks like all of those but one, I think, did go over to Canyon. And some plant gold.
It's a frustrating situation to be in, because it's like, what else can you do with your time? Yeah, who's gone for a recall, so now Chovy has a bit of prio in lane. We'll see if they opt to start up the grubs now. Chovy does have a biscuit, so it's not like he needs to recall necessarily. And Sponge is trying to get some poke down on Canyon, hopefully dissuade him. Don't do the grubs. Leave him alone.
There's also a Scuttle Crab around here. Looks like maybe they'll back away and go for that. Slahens is going up, and we got everybody going up. Hayes also coming up here. The Impale does come in, only going to hit the Karthus as the Keen. He was unstoppable. Yehu in a lot of trouble as he burns down. Pace going to get that kill. Now he's going to pick up potentially a second. No, that will go over to Chovy as Canyon, not level 6. And he will die, so at least they trade that one back. But now the hook looking to come out here from Lahans. He is not going to hit it, as Pleta just goes for the straight line play, just walk away. Still a couple of kills, the advantage over to GENG.
Yeah, good moves there from Pleta to avoid being another casualty. But FaZe makes the roam up and is rewarded with another kill. 2-0-1 on Zeri, highest farm in the game. It is not feeling good for DRX. We'll see the replay. And Rascal makes the aggressive play on Canyon. He knows Canyon doesn't have flash, but unfortunately, Lahen's fantastic play to stop Yehu with a follow-up. If Yehu was able to follow up on Canyon, he would have died so quickly.
Yeah.
Instead, he takes a long time to die, and on top of that, Paige just is there to slide in for the kill. Once again, we're getting a fight over these grubs. Will it ever end?
Not sure. Well, the root is going to come down. Rascal trying to get in there, but King going to show himself. And Sponge is making a real case saying, okay, I can win this 1v1, and I've got Rascal coming down, so he does push Canyon away for that objective. So that should be some grubs going over to the side of DRX. At least the one.
Is one. Well, one of them so far. Oh, Canyon has ult now. That's a little bit scary. That's a lot of bit scary.
It's definitely pretty scary as he tries to get in there, gets a grub. And now Pleta did have flash, but not going to overcommit to this one. Second grub will go over to DRX. So a lot of skirmishing, a lot of back and forth trading, but GENG elect to not overstay their welcome.
Oh, they just grub diffed them 2-1. DRX with a bit of a win there.
Hell yeah.
Still, grubs don't actually do that much against the Fed Zeri, so. But you know what? That's the mid-game DRX's problem.
Yeah.
Early game DRX, hey, they got the grubs.
We're taking any wins we can get right now, Ox.
Yeah.
And for now, it's the Zyra getting some grubs for the team. Now, Canyon and his team, Chovy and Lehens here, coming in to invade as Canyon says, no, this part of the jungle is also mine. Lehens waiting.
No. He has to back away, right? No?
No, just going to wait until he comes into the bush. Sponge in a bit of trouble, does throw out the ult himself, is now Ignite, and a couple of Qs are going to land, and Canyon... Requiem? No?
They can collapse on this, surely. I feel like the bot lane could have looked for something there. It was just 2 people. They pushed the wave and instead, and they just sacrificed the jungle. I really feel like they should have collapsed on that.
Well, wasn't meant to be, and Canyon is going to get away with it. Sponge and Canyon flashing for that play. And Sponge, low on health, says, well, I got to get in here. I got to take some of this jungle away. He knows that Canyon can't possibly be here. And there's no vision in there currently, so it's not like Chovy's going to punish him or anything.
Dragon's still not being touched at nearly 10 minutes. I mean, it's because normally we see the trade-off for grubs for Dragon, and here it's been grubs for grubs, and just grubs all day.
Yeah. Ooh, this is a bit of a rough moment as Rascal is going to be pulled onto the turret and just dies solo here in the 1v1 against Keen, who perfectly times it and takes him down.
Yeah, well played from Keen there, manages to get him on the turret, and the thing is, once you get flipped back under, the CC chain gets extended for such a long time. That's just Cassante things. Oh.
All right, trying to bait Chovy into this one. The root, though, will be avoided.
Yeah, Zyra not exactly the strongest ganking jungler. And no ult from Yahoo, so it's not like he could, like, do the little Tristana sec where you jump over and knock.
Tristana sec.
Oh, that's my favorite thing, when they jump in and do the, like, the R flash.
Yeah.
And then they just completely grief their position. And
die immediately, yeah. Well, the Chovy still wants to go for this Sponge here again. Chovy's probably getting pretty annoyed by his presence.
Yeah, who's just sitting there like, if I had ult and flash, oh boy.
Yeah.
You'd see prime gameplay. Yep, gets the max charge W.
탑 잡은 것 같은데.
I think I got him.
I think he's right.
And that's all he has to say.
Nothing more to be said.
Sponge just found a Zeri in the jungle and the Karthus ult to help out as Sponge not dead yet.
Oh!
It's actually Paze who goes down, baited by what he thought was a free kill.
The good news, they killed Paze and they saved their jungler. The bad news, Platter got the kill. So, not ideal, but still a pretty big win. And they burnt Karthus ult for that as well. It looked like a surefire thing, but
yeah,
Platter with a good disengage.
Bit of an issue here for Rascal, as now he's just going to pull the Cassante in, but the knockup comes in from the Q3. Rascal has to flash away. And not even going to bother to use Impale at any point in that trade, of course, up against the Cassante.
Yeah, hard to get value from it against the Cassante. Ult wasn't quite available for Keen yet. Maybe wasn't quite aware at the timer, but if that had been up and you let him get behind you, you're just dead. You're just mega dead. Super mega dead. And now it's back to the main plot point. It's grub time.
Yeah, we do have the Ezreal up here, and meanwhile the entire bot lane of Genji is well bought. So I think that Genji are just going to give this one up. They say, well, we can't really fight over this.
What? You can just not fight grubs? That's crazy.
We learned that today. Yeah.
This is revolutionary macro from GENG.
Trading here once again, but Chovy with no Valkyrie, I think, there. But not going to matter.
Platter with no flash, wasn't able to connect the Q. We'll have the follow-up. Teddy, he knows to respect the Cassante. He ain't messing around with that. But a big plate lead for GENG. And Paze still has 2 kills, still has 1 assist, still has most farm in the game, and now has a lot of plates.
Maybe he gave a shutdown gold to Pleta on purpose.
You know, I think there's times where that's a valid suggestion. I don't think that was it. Oh, we get the Paze point of view.
뭐야 안 죽냐? 아 저리.
He's not dead.
이게 안 죽네?
I also think in that moment with the True Shot Barrage coming in and all the plants attacking him, very hard to give over the kill credit to Platter. So, you know, if that was his intention, great job. But I suspect
he's just that good, right? This turret is getting pretty low. It looks like they are not going to commit to it on this wave, but with only Rascal there against 2, not a lot of help to keep that turret alive. It's not going to be 5 plates at least, as Lehen's in a little bit of an awkward spot here. Just going to hook on in and die. Okay, well, he's dead. Said, no, I don't want to flash away. I will just die instead.
Yeah, I think it was kind of rough to find an opportunity to flash easily once that initial CC had connected. But a good pick from DRX. They knew that obviously bot lane they were losing out pretty heavily. So they make a play on the other side of the map. Lehen's kind of disconnected from his team a little bit. And the cost will be 1 kill and Herald. And hopefully looking to get some good value out of that Herald. Maybe using it to take that mid lane tower. Rascal will be just hiding in a tower. That's his thing. Chovy's playing a little bit aggressively here.
Yeah.
But I think he can.
For now, but the timing is good. He actually backs away right when the Rel was coming over. And in terms of the 1v1, Chovy will always win this. He's got some great setup vision, too, to just keep him safe.
Wait, are you sure Chovy wins this when Rascal has a, what's it called, a fairy in a bottle thing, and an unstacked...
That's what it's called.
Thimble Winter? You're telling me these aren't great 1v1 items compared to a Triforce?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for...
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Thanks for clarifying that, yeah.
No problem.
We need to know.
And, I mean, Chovy's up there at the top. It's actually Pays who is farming even better than Chovy in this game. And now just trying to siege the turret in mid. But decent amount of damage actually put onto Pays there, so he'll have to back away, and the siege will end. But they are looking for the second Drake now.
Yeah, and... I mean, we'll see what Dragon ends up being, what Soul. Obviously, DRX with 2 going over, hoping it's not going to be something like a... I mean, Hextech's already gone. Mountain would be a pain. Infernal would be bad.
Infernal.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
And Keen's going in there. It's 1v2 right now. You see that nobody's really able to get in the Rift Herald, but it's still going to get a charge down. Pleta also here. The eye hit. And Keen, he's still going in. The Zyra ultimate doesn't do anything. He's not even near those plants as Keen will go down, but he still is able to set up Canyon for the kill.
Yeah, we see the local goal picked up there by Yehu. This is the power of that Karthus. You know, a play that looks like it shouldn't be possible. A 1v3, the extra damage from Canyon comes in, makes the 1-for-1 trade. And, I mean, they get a kill on the Tristana. DRX can't complain too much, but obviously not ideal when GENG have a 3,000 gold lead and 2 dragons in pocket looking at Infernal Soul. I mean, Karthus with an Infernal Soul, Corki with an Infernal Soul. Even Cassante with an Infernal Soul.
Yeah, I think he's the best, actually.
He is the best champion that ever championed.
If you give him extra damage on top of everything...
Yeah, he's already tanky, so you just add that extra damage. It's...
Look at this play.
Oh, this is big.
Yeah, I think Lehen's is definitely dead. Well, let's see if he can somehow get out of here. Yeah, they're just going to take the free kill on Lehen's. Definitely a good call. And even Pay's going to be run down here, forced to flash away. That's a good trade.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask, what did Lehen's say to DRX?
Well, game 1 did happen, so yeah. I think that has something to do with it.
Maybe it's not what he said, it's just it's how he looked at them when they came on the stage. They seem to be punishing in here. Not the greatest performance from Sponge. He goes for an ult here, and it just completely whiffs because Keen's going in, which I guess Sponge didn't expect. And Platter tries to save the play, and it is a 1-for-1, but not ideal on here. The target selection's good as well because Pays has flash and his dash, so hard to pin down. But they see him dash in here, and Rascal's like, well, I can ult that. Trader Sums, they'll take it.
Yeah, definitely worth. I think that GENG certainly playing around the map like they own it, which, I mean, they're in the lead, and they are able to utilize their priority and some of the leads that they've gotten to do that. But you got to be careful about overstepping against Skarner and Rel, especially when they're together.
Yeah, I mean, I am just going to say, this game is in a rough spot for DRX still. They're down 2 dragons. You can see a big farm lead in mid. CS leads in jungle, top. 80 carry, not in support. You know, Platter's keeping up farm there.
All right, yeah,
but
that's good.
It's going a lot better than game 1, you know, which isn't saying much, but it is going a lot better than game 1.
All right, here's the engage. No flash for Pays. He is dead, and now we're just diving the turret anyway. Sponge gonna go down, but a big ult and some damage put into them. But Keen, he is still Cassante, so they're not gonna follow up on that one.
Man, Pled is so good. I just feel like he always has such a good eye for these engages. They knew that flash was down from Pays, punish it so swiftly, and now maybe they're looking towards this mid-tier one. They're looking at Lehens.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. He will flash this time as now the TP's coming in. Was it just a bait all along?
No.
Doesn't look like it. I mean, it keeps them from losing their tower, actually.
Yeah, the tower's pretty healthy and the wave wasn't that big, so I think maybe the tower would have been gone, would have been safe anyway.
Yeah, who's spotted coming on in, and Chovy always going to take that trade.
Yeah, a lot of damage. But yeah, I think tower was probably never going down, so maybe the right call to go for the flash from Lehens. And they do get the TP from Keen. But, you know, I'm feeling a lot more positive about this game than the last one. There's life here.
Yeah.
And Pei is just a bit disrespectful here, but the instant reaction synced up with Teddy on the ult. Like, Teddy fires the ult. They're clearly coming. I'm going to look at the engage. They sync together so well. And Teddy and Pled are just delivering. Unfortunately, they do lose Sponge on the back end. There's Zyra. It is in Zyra's nature to die a lot, but still, positive plays from DRX. They just need to keep looking for these angles.
Absolutely. I think that Pled is trying his absolute hardest to make things happen. It's a nice TP on the top side from Rascal as well early on to take down Lehens. So they're being proactive. They're making plays. They're utilizing what they have in their kit. They're not saying, oh, GENG's ahead, I guess we just lose. And the game looks a lot closer compared to game one, which was kind of just sad, honestly, to watch. So I'm all for it. Give me a more competitive game.
Yeah, I do have a concern, though. Look at the time at the top of your screen. What does it say?
20 minutes, 30 seconds.
Now look at Chovy's farm.
41.
Well,
he is farming pretty fast.
He is Chovying quite well this game.
Yes, indeed. Is Pays also Chovying, or is he Paysing?
You know what's the thing? Is Yehu's farm actually looks so bad in comparison, but his...
Well, he'll get that Warmogs eventually, and then he'll be okay. You know who's already got Warmogs? It's Pleta, and he's looking to make another play here once again. It looks like Keen also trying to frontline for the team. And they're trying to make a play here on this Infernal Drake. Keen's still taking some poke damage. Lehens spotted, will just Hex Flash away.
Nice they can use the plants for vision. They're trying to contest this brush, but struggling.
Woo!
Teddy getting some good poke down. There's more.
And Teddy's doing a ton of damage right now. And he's really trying to push the envelope.
That one didn't do as much damage.
It did to the air molecules. You just didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah, not visible to the human eye,
yeah.
Fortunately.
Well, they've actually forced them out with this poke. See if they can find a good angle here. Plenty needs his Warmogs to be available so he can heal up, but they're looking a bit for Keen.
Keen is trying so hard to get them to attack him. As the ult this time is going to miss, and the smite does go over to Canyon anyway. The Zyra ultimate doesn't do much. And now Lehens getting back in there, maybe in a little bit of trouble, does have the Aftershock, but now it is gone. And still on the run, the Impale utilized there, but now a massive ultimate coming out from Canyon.
Oh, man!
And Pleta nearly dies. That will spark the retreat from DRX over to this mid-tier 1, where, you know what, GENG's out of position, and they should be able to get it.
I think you need to lock it, Pleta. I think you need to lock the Iron Slurry. Man, that damage was insane. That's going to be very hard to deal with. Now, Keen, look, oh, Sponge is so dead.
Yeah, Keen's just going to TP in, and Sponge not respecting the TP timer. Now that's the jungle gone, and GENG get a free Baron.
Yep.
So they were doing so well. They were making plays. They were setting up for Dragon. Teddy was poking. There was so much work done up to a certain point. And then Keen teleports in, gets one pick, and GENG are going to win the game anyway.
Yeah, not ideal. A little bit suboptimal. Oh, but he threw a rock at him. Yeah, we're going to replay.
Did, yeah.
So the smite secure is a bit unfortunate. Lehens ends up overextending a bit, uses his dredge line, so now he doesn't have essentially an escape here. They know his flash is down from earlier, so they get a max range Impale. And the rocket does hit to get Teddy and Sponge lower, but that ult just does so much damage. And then they're all low, and they're like, we have to get out of here. Sponge, this was a mistake. You had a ward at Baron. the better play is to recall and then go back to Baron, and that will stop them from doing Baron more so than you dying for the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah.
Is the takeaway.
Even if you get the Scuttle Crab, I mean...
But I'm going to be honest, maybe he would have died anyway before he got back. Oh.
All right, Impale. Lehens is just a punching bag right now, but he has his flash up. I don't think it's going to matter as Teddy flashes in to kill him.
Not sure about the flash there.
He really must have said something.
Yeah, they are not happy with Lehens.
Yeah. It's getting kind of obvious.
Yeah, well, Keen is just whacking the tower. And it's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So, good kill, though, from DRX. They are finding these picks, but it just feels like every little victory is offset by moments like this, where Keen just autos the tower and gets 700 gold.
Yeah. You know, sometimes, like, bots in League of Legends will just run in a straight line to get to their destination. That's what it looks like Keen was doing there to go hit the turret. In terms of the poke, you've got this Corki, and uh-oh, Teddy, will he live? The Seri ultimate on top of it just to make sure. And that'll be the end of Teddy. He was about 5 seconds away from his barrier. And so he's going to go down this push with Baron buff. He's just so stifling, so suffocating for DRX to deal with.
Yeah, and I feel like every time I look at the Corki CS numbers, I'm kind of even a little bit more amazed, you know? It just feels like it keeps piling on.
Sounds like you're a member of the church. Church
right.
Chovy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've said it before, I think Chovy's pretty good.
Yeah, he is pretty good at killing those minions.
Killing those champions as well. Not so much this game, but in general.
True. Well, this Baron push, the Red Bull Baron power play, looks like the TP is going to come in. They do want to punish this.
And he does have ult this time.
Canyon doesn't have his. Pace is like, all right, guys, see you later. I'm getting out of here. Although, he will be stopped, and now a rock to the face. The Impale will be missed, as this front line, though, is being torn to shreds. And Keenan a bit of an issue. Oh, no! Yahoo going to go down amidst it all. Somehow, Keen got that kill.
Yeah, nice.
Like he was pushed into that.
Nice engage on a Chovy, but yeah, Keen got a real slick play there to get the trade kill. Still, you know, DRX are in a very rough position right now. We can see why in this clip. Just Teddy getting poked down. There's no locket. Sponge just kind of soaks that one with him. Solidarity. And then Hayes, I don't think he would have died without the ult damage. I think he would have just lived. So yeah. Hayes secured it, nice to see. And then here, they have the long TP flank. They stop the recalls. Pleta with this beautiful engage on a Chovy. And then Keen gets knocked back, but then ults through Pleta to get the redirect onto Yahoo. Really well played from him when he knew he was going down. But yeah, I mean, I think the takeaway this game compared to last game is this game is obviously still very Gen.G favored, and it looks like they're likely going to win, but DRX have shown so much more life in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good to see, you know. As you mentioned, we kind of feel like we know the results at this point in time, but it's good to see DRX making plays and making stuff happen and not just turtling up. See, the most damage in the game is actually going to go over to Chovy. I expected that to be Canyon, but I suppose only that one really big ult so far.
Yeah, and now they have Infernal Soul, and you know, I was thinking what I would say about this. I don't think I need to. I think everyone knows, you know.
Tell me the analysis, Oxington.
Boom, boom damage.
Ah, yes.
It's the big boom, boom damage. And the thing is, I think it's really Chovy and Canyon. There's going to come a point where like a big one, or like, you know, a Sheen auto from Chovy, or just this. Oh, experiment!
Oh, boy. Okay.
You know what? I'm going to say it. I expected more. A little bit anticlimactic.
Okay.
I really thought we'd see like 60-70% health bars. I guess he didn't have a Rabadons.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit disappointed from that one, Canyon.
And
I think he just wanted to see as well. That was definitely an ult for science. Oh, actually, you know what it was? It's even more sinister than that. That was an ult for DPM. He's like, you know,
I should use this, yeah, and put it on
like,
cooldown.
Oh, yeah. He wants to have the highest damage. I will try and topple him.
Yeah, hear me talking, saying that I thought it was him. He's like, oh, let me help you out with that.
Yeah. He's thinking if he ults now, we can probably get another ult in before the end of the game.
He's right. It's, you know, 2/3 done on the cooldown.
Chovy's like, we have to end before it's back up. Quickly, quickly, quickly.
push top lane. Canyon's like, no, I'm going to go in the jungle, actually.
You know, I don't think I want to end the game.
Yeah.
I think I liked being in this game.
Look at the vision, though. I mean, this is rough. The Infernal Soul, the poke damage, it hasn't really hit DRX yet, but it's because they're playing so safe, they're not really in a position to get hit by much. And that just means that they don't really have a good way to get vision down. They don't have a good way to push into the jungle at this point in time.
Yeah, who's solo defending. Rascal loses a lot of health for that attempt there.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
It's back. And, you know, some shield's going to come down.
Yeah, that feels more significant. And now they're doing Baron, and they can't contest because they're low on health, so...
If he had Locket, could they have contested?
They'll have much better chances, yes.
Yeah, well, Keen, he's going to have Pace come over, actually, to help him out. But if he was alone...
Well, they got Baron. And I want to see the damage graph again. I want to know if Canyon's overtaken now.
He got 2 ults in since then.
Yeah, and Chovy hasn't really done much.
Yeah.
He is definitely going to stall this game out for a third ult. It's like halfway done already.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I think Canyon is ahead on DPM.
For now.
On damage.
Rascal needs to slide to the wall. That is looking for an angle potentially, but ult unfortunately not available. And it's hard to do when flashes are up for both the carries of GENG. I say both the carries, all 3 of the carries. There is 3 of them.
Pace dashed in.
4 carries. Keen is also a carry.
What about Lahens?
Not this game.
Oh.
This is the Bully Lahens game.
Yeah, it's true. Pace dashed in, took half his health bar and damage, but still he did...
It's almost up, it's almost up. Oh, get back the base sponge.
He's going to use it right away, right?
I don't know, because he would have used it there to kill Sponge.
I feel like you might as well just to secure 3 inhibitors, but I guess...
Can you say yes to secure 3 inhibitors?
That's the real reason. Pace is going to just dash out of that. Skarner not very good. And now he's going to use it. He's going for the kills, and he will take down the Zyra. And that will be the end of the game. He gets 2. Penta angle available right now for Canyon. We know that GENG love their penta kills.
Jovi's recalling. He doesn't want to give him a penta. He's not.
Canyon almost died, actually.
Oh, no, he was getting the package.
Taking a bunch of turret shots. Yeah, the package, of course. In this day and age, Keen is like, no, don't leave me out. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the game, guys. 31 minutes. GENG get the job done. 2-0. Once again, they are undefeated.
I think Keen was trying to leave the kills for Canyon, and Paige just came in immediately. Was like, nope. I'm nose up. And look, I don't think this result surprises anyone at all. 2-0 for GENG is just continuing that track record expected against DRX. It's been a rough week for them, but that game 2 was so much more life. Pleta had some good engages, Teddy had some good moments, but they simply are not good enough to beat GENG. And that is information we knew before the series, and it has been confirmed after the series. GENG, business as usual. But yeah, I think DRX, there's takeaways from this series, and they should keep looking forwards because, you know, especially their recent splits have been quite rough, being really bottom of the table. I still think that that dream of making top 6, making playoffs is there.
It definitely is. I mean, especially with KT struggling a lot nowadays, might leave one team out of the top 6. Chovy going to give us a nice little celebration, as he always does. It feels like the guys on DRX don't even look that frustrated. Like, it's not going to feel good, obviously. And, you know, Teddy was feeling pretty down. But at the end of the day, I think even DRX kind of knew that this was going to be a really difficult matchup. And they gave it their all, especially in Game 2, as we mentioned. Wasn't enough. GENG, they've beaten really strong teams in a very similar manner. So what can you say? GENG just continuing on their golden road, and they're trying to do it with flying colors here in summer as well.
I mean, 0 game losses would be insane, but there's still a long way to go.
It's hard.
It's really easy to talk about these things now, but like, you know, maybe a game like this against a stronger team than DRX, maybe there's more angles. That's why it's hard to say, you know, despite the amount we've talked about it today, GENG aren't perfect. You know, they are very, very good, but they aren't absolutely flawless, despite what it sometimes seems like. And here, you know, it felt like plays like this really hurt quite a bit. You know, things like King get a solo kill against the Scott, that shouldn't happen. Yeah, I know GENG are very good, but that shouldn't happen in the matchup. But then we had some turnarounds. I think Pleta had a really good game. Teddy had a really good game. Lahens did not have a fun time. This was Bully Lahens Day.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's just the thing you do. When you know you're going to lose, just pick someone and ruin that KDA.
Always the Nautilus as well, because he's actually not that tanky if he doesn't have
and actually
Aftershock.
plays his highest KDA in the league for any role.
Yeah.
But you did some damage there, so good job.
Nicely done.
Yeah, and Sponge, you know what, he tried.
He did. I mean, there were certainly some big things, I think, for DRX to go over in Game 1 and Game 2. But
I think that's the thing. I think a match like this against GENG has to just be a learning experience for DRX.
yeah. Must be really... Must feel very not fun when you're playing Skarner into Zeri and she just dashes away.
I think you could remove the terms like the word Skarner, and that's still true.
Yeah.
It's just not fun playing into Fed Zeri, especially when it's Pays on the enemy team.
That rock and the turret shot nearly killed Canyon. Just like that.
Yeah, maybe this game Rascal should have gone like Magic Pen Skarner and just thrown the biggest rocks possible.
Well, might have helped. Not sure.
You know what it is? It is just those 3 ults in a row. He
Yeah.
just snipes the highest damage, and you know, that's
not
how you know,
surprised.
that's how you know he's a master of the jungle, because he knows exactly how many ults to use to steal most damage. Down, you know, I think 2 wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah, exactly. If he didn't use the first one out of those 3, he probably would have just tied or like been on even footing. But
We see you, Canyon.
at the end of the day, Canyon, he says you can't ban me out. You can't, even if you ban Zyra, Nidalee, Karthus, he's just gonna pick Talia. He's just gonna pick Diana. You know, he could play Maokai or anything else. He could play Lee Sin.
He could just play he could play tanks,
Yeah.
and they would probably still win.
It's really rough. No team has beaten GENG so far. That doesn't change tonight. And we are done here on the casting desk very early because of them, as well as Quantum Freaks earlier on. But let's hand it over to the space to break down this win from GENG.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POG interview translation, joined by Canyon on the side of GENG, who continue their winning streak without dropping a game. Congratulations! Now, once again, GENG scores another victory for the 6th consecutive win, and you were the unanimous player of the game in Game 1, so how do you feel? Just very happy that we were able to win so cleanly, especially in Game 1. I'm glad that I got the POG today. And in Game 1, Canyon, the Zyra ban led up to your Nidalee pick, followed by midway and top 80 Kennen from your team. This comp looked like such a GENG specialty, so how was the drafting process? So when we were trying to pick mid and top, we looked at the enemy comp. And Keen and Chovy, they were just discussing what would be the best option, and we just ended up with those picks. And as expected, from the Nidalee skin haver, your Nidalee gameplay was on point. At 11 minutes, your KDA was exactly 501, and you created a 4,000 global gold difference. So how influential can you be? I feel like it all happened in the mid lane when we were able to snowball, and we also were able to win that team fight in the Void Grubs team fight. So I think that's why we were able to get such a dominating win. And now your Nidalee in the LCK alone has 21 wins and 6 losses. And surely there has to be some limitations on stage, but how is Canyon's Nidalee so different? I feel like, yeah, there's some risks with playing Nidalee, but because of how well my teammates support me, I think that's what allows me and enables me to play so well on Nidalee. And Canyon in Game 1, it was 21 minutes and 49 seconds, a new record for the fastest game. And GENG has already reset this record 3 times, so why are you ending the game so fast? I feel like once we snowball the game, we do continue to snowball it so that we can end the game really fast. But also the meta has to do with it as well. I think the meta is what allows us to end the game so fast. So, do you have any intention to finish the game even faster in the future? Yeah, I feel like now that you talk about it, now that you mention it, I do want to try ending the game faster next time. And in game 2, we got a Zyra versus Karthus, a matchup of two fast-clearing junglers. And the usual pathing could have put more pressure on your bot lane, but you started from the enemy jungle, which was so smart. And it looks like Helios, he was just so impressed by your decision making. So how did you come up with this pathing? You know, Karthus is really strong early, and I believe that even if I invade the enemy jungle, I knew that I would be able to win. And yeah, in level 3, I flashed really late, which was very risky. I almost died, but I think I got really lucky at that point. And Canyon, your Zyra, Nidalee, and Karthus are absolutely unstoppable. And in the AP jungle meta, how much presence and contribution do you think you made? I feel like, yeah, I'm definitely way ahead of the game. I just want to make sure that since everything is bound to change, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to keep myself in check always. And with GENG displaying such a destructive force, it looks like no one can stand a chance. So who does GENG consider as a worthy rival at the moment? I believe that as long as we play well, anyone is a defeatable opponent, so we always have to make sure that we put in our best. And next week in the Saudi Arabia Esports World Cup, GENG and T1 will represent the LCK. With your fans looking forward to your success, what are your goals? Yeah, we'll be at EWC next week. I know that we will be playing on a different patch, and I want to make sure that we adapt fast and make sure we take it home. And that's the end of the interview from Canyon of GENG. Happy birthday, Jisun, and back to the space. Thank you.